All right, so the first one is from Nick. I believe this is the Nick that's a new link building client of mine. And he's got a ton of questions because I did an audit for him. I think I've got another pending audit currently for you, Nick. So if you're here, that's great. If not, you can catch the replay. Question is, do you have a testing framework you use? How would you test different LLPs for the same website? So he's talking about location landing pages. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, a location landing page is the landing page that is linked to from the Google Business website, or excuse me, the Google Business profile, meaning it's the website URL that you assign to the Google Business profile as the website. That page that it links to is the location landing page. I see all that, and it's normal to see single location businesses that link to their homepage. But I've discovered over the last few months that that is not the best page to link to, even for single location businesses, because your location landing page should provide agreement with how the GBP is optimized. In other words, it should corroborate or validate the optimization of the Google Business profile itself, meaning it should reinforce it. And so, if you think about it, most businesses are trying to convey a message of like who they are, what they do, and where they do it. But the homepage should, or the location landing page should be optimized to the same level and to corroborate or reinforce what the GBP is optimized for. So let's, as an example, if you're a service area business where you cover a large, which is what I almost exclusively work with is service area businesses, you're generally trying to target a fairly large area. And so if you link to the homepage of the website as the location landing page, and you optimize for a broad area, and you also try to squeeze in multiple service categories or service keywords or product or service keywords or something into the SEO title of that homepage, then you're sending conflicting signals to Google, because now the location landing page is not agreeing with how the GBP is optimized. The GBP is optimized for brand first, then the primary Google Business category plus additional categories, and then the city that it's physically located in. GBPs are not located in counties. They're not located in regions. They're not located in states. They're located in cities. So you should be optimizing for the city that GBP is located in, right? So that you're reinforcing that, you'll get better search results in maps. You'll get better performance for maps search when you optimize the location landing page to corroborate how the GBP is optimized. So even for single location businesses, you should have a dedicated location landing page that's optimized for the specific city that GBP is located in when you're trying to target a larger geographic area for the entire business. I mean, in other words, the homepage should be optimized for brand first, then the top level kind of product or service keywords or terms, topics, categories, etc., that are all inclusive of all the services that company provides. And then the geographic modifier mentioned on the homepage should be the largest geographic region that encompasses or includes all of the service areas that business services, right? So now you're setting the stage from the homepage of who you are, what you do, where you do it. And you're telling Google very clearly from the brand page, the homepage, which should be optimized for the brand first, exactly the area, like what you do and where you do it in the broadest terms. But then the location landing page, which should be a dedicated page for that specific city that the GBP is registered and located in, can then be optimized for specifically brand first, who you are, what you do, so primary Google Business category, or the top category that is all inclusive of all of the additional categories. And then that specific city and state, sometimes just a city, depending on how Wikipedia references that location entity. So that now that location landing page is providing 100% corroboration or agreement with how the GBP is optimized. The map will perform better in search that way. Does that make sense? And so hopefully that clarifies what the question is. And so now the next part is this: how do you test different website structures? Build test sites, Nick. That's why I know you're new to this and to our group. But for 2 years now, I've been hammering away, well, for longer than 2 years, but I've been hammering it very, very hard the last 2 years, is to select a particular industry. I know you're in one industry, Nick, but I know that your primary business is not SEO. You're learning SEO for your own business. So it's going to be difficult for you, but there's no other way to do it. All of us that do SEO for clients, I keep telling people go into one industry. Nick, I know you are, but I'm talking about for the rest of our audience. It's very difficult to test this when you're trying to test this across multiple industries. But when you're in one single industry, which is what you are, Nick, then just go build sites in that industry, right? You just go build test sites. You test different. What do you think I did, guys? For 2 years, I'm still testing. I'm still finding ways to make it better and better and more and perform better, right? But I've done it in tree service industry now because I consult with other SEOs. I've also been doing a ton of research and showing people how to structure, at least within a framework of how to do all of this in other industries. And then I'm getting reports back from a lot of those people that I consult with and agencies, et cetera, about the results. And then I provide additional suggestions and we try to fine tune it. But I can't do the testing for you except for in the industry that I'm in, which is the tree service industry. So I develop all of this framework through my own testing in the tree service industry. And then I teach that and I try to disclaim right up front that it's going to require some testing and trial and error on your part to figure out what the best performing configuration is in your particular industry. I can give you the framework and give you resources that you can go analyze to determine what is best for that industry. But then it's going to take trial and error. That's what SEO is, guys. It's trial and error, right? You just go out and start testing. And once you find something that performs well, again, direct response marketing principles. Once you figure out what works best, then that becomes the control. And your sole purpose in life is to beat the control. Always try to single variable test other configurations. So you change one variable, so you duplicate that same kind of structure into a new build. Change one variable and test it against the control. See, does it improve? Is it better performance, same, or is it lower performance? Okay. Once you've identified what type of effect it had, then if it's positive, duplicate it. Try it again. Try to see if you can duplicate that again with another test, and see, does it produce a positive response again? If you can duplicate that with consistency, positive response, now you know that becomes the new control. Then you do it again. I wish I could tell you there was an easier way, guys, but there's not. That's why I'm telling you guys, and I've been saying this nonstop for the last several years, pick one industry and go into that industry and test. You will figure it out. Once you figure it out, you'll start crushing it. I've showed this dozens of times. I'll show it again. I just finished another audit for another client today. And I already had this pulled up. Guys, I've got 94 out of 96 keywords in the #1 position with this site. 94. These are not junk keywords, right? It's a low competition area. Yes. I'm not trying to state that this is a high competition area. What I'm trying to demonstrate with this, guys, is the effect of proper site structure, page structure, site structure, internal linking. When you get on page done right, you will need significantly less content, significantly less pages, significantly less links to achieve top performance, because you build an efficient site that conveys exactly to Google who you are, what you do, and where you do it in an efficient way that Google can understand. And if you don't believe me, just go check it. Like, let's just go take a look at this, guys. This site right here, if I go open this up, we're going to go check it out in Majestic. Just to be clear, I know some of you have seen this before, but we're going to paste this in and go take a look at the backlink profile. Do you guys think I have a relevant or strong backlink profile to this? Come on, guys, look at it. Trust flow value of 1 in completely irrelevant, non-relevant categories. It says that there's backlinks from 2 referring domains. Okay, let's go take a look at the backlinks. The 2 referring domains is, one of them is my TreeCare HQ directory site. So there is one valid link from that, and that's this one right here. Then this other link, which has been deleted, was a link from Booster Pages, and that's just what I use as it's an indexing tool is the way I look at it. It's not actually for links, it's for indexing. Okay, so you understand there's one live link pointing to this site right now. One live backlink pointing to this site. And it's this one right here from my directory site. And yet, look at these ranking performance, the ranking performance of this site, guys. 94 out of 96 keywords. It's actually 48 keywords, but being tracked across mobile and desktop search. So there's actually 48 keywords. And so we have 47 out of 48 keywords in the #1 position. 100% on-page optimization. It's through page structure, site structure, and internal linking, guys, without the bloat, without all the unnecessary shit that we see on all these sites all the time oh, damn it, I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to go to Firefox, see if it'll open up. Okay, just go take a look at the site, guys. This is the same exact structure that I use for every tree service site now. Every single one, full stop. Why? Because it performs well. And again, look at this, guys. Like, for example, this is the most populous area in the or city within this county. It's not, again, this is a very low competition area, guys, but this is to demonstrate how structure at what I've been describing as page structure, site structure, and internal linking, how effective it is. Okay. When you combine that with a map, this is just an organic only asset because it was for testing purposes. But when you combine it with a map, it will help the map to perform very well too, when done properly and linking to the appropriate page. But anyway, let's go in here and just set a filter real quick. Excuse me, let me close that out and click. I'm just going to use Grundy as the filter. So these are the keywords that we're tracking for Grundy. Every single one of them, except for tree cutting and desktop, is #1 position. Okay, so it's the location page that is ranking for every search query, not the service pages, not the home page, not 18 blog posts saying the same thing over and over and over again, right? It's one location page that ranks for every search query. Why is that? Well, because the location page is optimized. And by the way, look at the content on this page. Well, this, you know what? Let me show you. This one actually has more content than the newer builds that I'm doing, but it's still not much because this is really, there's an opening paragraph here. And this was really part of the opening paragraph. I just extracted it into 2 different sections. And then there's this right here, this content here, which goes down to there. That's it. That's the content of the page. Then there's some FAQs, and I do that on every page. And that's more of an SEO thing because the H3's FAQs, Google likes that kind of data. But that's it. There's not a lot of written content here, guys. You don't see a page, tree removal Grundy, tree care Grundy, tree trimming Grundy, stump removal Grundy. You don't see that. We don't need that. The location page doesn't also need to have H2s for each of those services and in paragraph after paragraph of text reinforcing what's already been stated on the service pages. Why? Because the service page already says everything that needs to be said about tree removal. So we don't need that. All we need to do is reference and link to. So page structure first, right? Structure your pages properly so that you can convey what the topic of the page is through the structure. You don't even need content to do that. I proved this last week. Let me demonstrate that again. I just want to pull it up, guys. This is that important. Okay. I cannot stress enough how powerful this is when you guys get this. And I know that I have a mastermind member who purchased an audit. I provided the audit. I gave very thorough instructions in my audit, which I always do. The one I just finished earlier today was an hour and 20-minute long video going over the audit. Okay. So I'm very, very thorough on my audits. And I just got a message on another site that he wants me to audit because he implemented what he says. I did everything that you said in your previous audit for this site and the rankings tanked. And I looked at the site and there's a significant errors that need to be addressed. And so that's why. So what I'm saying is if you get it right, and that's why I'm talking specifically to Nick, test in one industry. I know, Nick, you are in one industry. I wish I could tell you there was an easier way, but there isn't. You need to start playing around with the frameworks that I'm providing in your own industry, and you will very quickly figure out what you can. Look, I spent 2 years doing it. You don't need to spend 2 years. None of you do. Pick one industry, follow the framework that I've been teaching regularly. Almost every week I talk about this now, even on Hump Day Hangouts. And then start applying this in one particular industry and play around with configurations. Mess with your SEO title, your H1, and your first H2. Those 3 things right there are the most important. And then how they relate to the other pages on the site. That's site structure and internal linking. Start with page structure because Google ranks web pages for search queries, not websites. Remember, Google is a document retrieval algorithm. It treats pages as documents, right? But now it used to be where we could rank a page with the rest of the site being complete garbage. If we had one page on a site that was optimized really well, it could rank very well. It's not really the case anymore. Because of the helpful content update, there's kind of a multiplier effect from the site quality score that Google determines by analyzing the entire site. It comes up with an overall site quality score. Then it will apply that multiplier, or it will apply that kind of quality score multiplier to all pages on the site. So that's why I talk about all 3 components: page structure, site structure, internal linking, because that's how we can convey to Google through those structural elements exactly what the site is, who we are, what we do, and where we do it. I swear to God, let me just show you, just to clarify that. We're going to go into predictive link building tool of on page. I'm going to go to load, and we're going to look up, this is just an example. Right here, guys. This page right here on one of my mastermind webinars or Build with Bradley groups or something a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about this, and so I wanted to demonstrate it. And to show you guys, look at this page here. This page right here, I conveyed it through structure. When I talk about page structure, guys, Google knows exactly what this page is about because of structure, and there's no content on this page other than headings and subheadings. That's it. Nothing on this page but headings and subheadings. And we submitted this to Google's natural language API via on-page AI. And look at the topical categories Google identified. This is Google's natural language categories data that it's returned. Google knows exactly what this page is about because of the structure. There's no content on this page, guys. Headings and subheadings, that's it. Google knows what the page is about. Why? Because it's very clear. Do we need content for Google to understand what the page is about? No, we don't. We can say it right there. By the way, what do you think the keyword density of this page is? It's incredibly high. Why? Because the only thing on this page are headings, and they're all keyword rich, right? So Google knows exactly what this page is about without any content, with no images, no media, nothing. And it determined that through URL. That's the first touch point. So when I talk about page structure, these are the elements of page structure. URL is always first. That's how Google found the page to begin with. It's the first touch point, right? So the URL, then your SEO title, which is document title, meta title, they're all the same. Then there's the page title, that's your H1. Then you have headings, those are H2s. Then you have subheadings, H3s, 4s, 5s. Then underneath all of that, at the very bottom, the least important for local SEO, clarify this, I'm talking about specific structures for local SEO. I have not tested this in non-local campaigns. I have no idea how it would perform for that. I don't do non-local campaigns, okay? But in local SEO, we can convey all of that through the page structure. The very last line item there would be media and content, kind of parallel with each other, because that is the least important thing on the pages, in my opinion, right now. And that's because, again, Google can understand what the page is about via structure, okay? And then how you relate that page to other pages on the site so that you can convey to Google in an efficient way without bloat and redundancy. You reduce crawl resistance. Thank you, Cecilia. She's the one that said that term originally, but reduce crawl resistance. Google will reward you. Think about it. If Google can understand through your page structure, site structure, and internal linking who you are, what you do, and where you do it very quickly and efficiently, why wouldn't it reward that site over competitor sites that have dozens of bloated content with redundancy that Google can't crawl or won't crawl, and a lot of pages that are been discovered or discovered not crawled or crawled not indexed? Why is that? Because they're redundant, they're low value pages, etc. So instead, you narrow down your site build to just the essentials, and just your service pages are thoroughly optimized to thoroughly describe that particular service. You want a dedicated service page for each distinct service that business offers. Then you have location pages that you optimize for the top level topic and category terms, right? If it's a Google business, if it's a website that has a Google business profile associated with it, figure out what the top level category, GB category, is that is all inclusive of all the other services. In some cases, it's hard to do, but in many cases, it's quite simple to do. Then you optimize the SEO title for, and in addition to figuring out what the top level Google business category is, that's all inclusive of all the services that company owns or provides, excuse me. Figure out what the top level topic term is too, which means which term, SEO term, has the broadest keyword coverage. In my industry, it's tree maintenance. Tree service is the top level Google business category. Tree little s service. Tree maintenance is the top level category term that has broader keyword coverage than even tree service. So what I'm saying is you figure this out in one industry, which again, sometimes requires some trial and error just to figure that out. Once you figure it out, then you can start playing around with configurations. You want to have that semantic triplet statement, subject, object, predicate, right? Which is who you are, what you do, where you do it, in simple terms. Those kind of entities are right, brand entity, product or service entity, location entity. They can be rearranged, that order. I always recommend leading with the brand or ending with the brand. But the who you are and what you do, or excuse me, what you do and where you do it can be, that order can be rearranged, etc. So as you can see, this is a perfect example of that. Look at this page. This has what or where we do, Grundy, that's a city in Virginia, what we do, tree service, and then who we are. So this is a rearranged order. But then so that's the SEO title, semantic triplet statement, 3 main entities, brand, product or service, location. You understand? So we're asserting the relationship between those entities in the document title, the SEO title. Then in the H1, the page title, right? That is where we restate what we do and where we do it. You don't have to reiterate brand because brand is already implied, right? It's already been implied through the document title and it's a page published on the branded website. So we don't need to reiterate or restate the brand in the H1, but we do want to restate the product or service entity and the location entity, but you want to use a variant of it so that it's not duplicated SEO title, which is over optimization or can be over optimization. It's not always, but it can be. And so what we've done here is you can see that I have Grundy tree service brand. Then in the H1, I've restated what we do, tree maintenance, and where we do it, Grundy, Virginia this time. So now in between the SEO title and the H1, I've duplicated that. I've reinforced that semantic triplet statement because in the H1, the brand is already implied. Hopefully that's clear. Then the first H2 is critically important as well. In the tree service industry, the additional category had been arborist and tree surgeon for a long time. Now it just in the last month or so has been changed to arborist service, which is a combination of arborist and service economics combined in Wikipedia, combined to create arborist little s service, right? And so that's important too, because if you can add another Google business category as the first H2 or reinforce or restate what was already said in the SEO title in the H1, excuse me, but use another variant, arborist service. And by the way, you can make that plural or singular. It doesn't matter. That's a close variant. It does not change the meaning. It's a close variant, so it does not change the meaning. So arborist service is the additional category, but I called it arborist services because that's more relevant and more appropriate for then listing multiple services. Hopefully that's clear. But then if we go view this, guys, so what I'm saying, guys, is now we've reinforced in the three most, in my opinion, the three most important headings on the page. So the SEO title or meta title or document title, they're all the same. The page title, which is H1, and in the first H2, which is important. We're now restating what we're trying to convey to Google. And then again, it goes back to page structure. Let's copy this page. Go look at this in Chrome, where I have the SEO Pro extension, and you can take a look at the page structure here. So if you look at the headings, yes, there's two H1s. Why? Because high-level sites, which is what this is, has a desktop version and a mobile version. So you should never have more than one H1 on a page unless it's an index page or an archive page for like a blog roll or a tag archive page or category archive page. You should never have more than one H1 unless you have a site builder like High Level that has a desktop version and a mobile version, in which case you should have two H1s, one for each version, desktop, mobile, but they should be the same H1 so that you're not causing conflicting data. Does that make sense? So if you take a look at it, what are the tree maintenance in Grundy, Virginia? Tree maintenance in Grundy, Virginia. Then look at this hierarchy of the page. Arborist services, right? So that's that first H2 right there. And then there's H3s that, because remember, guys, subheadings should support their respective headings. And headings are H2s. So page titles in H1, headings H2s, subheadings H3s, 4s, 5s. So H2s should support the H1. H3s, 4s, and 5s, so subheadings should support their respective headings or H2s. That's page structure. Again, for many years, I know all of us got away from doing proper page structure because we used H tags for styling elements and all of that. I've done it too. But now I'm telling you, I don't know why, maybe because Google's having a hard time understanding or processing all the data. Their servers are overloaded, et cetera, but all of a sudden there's a resurgence of page structure being important. And so again, you make it optimized appropriately so that you can convey to Google through the structure of the page exactly what the page is about. Guys, see that? This is proof. And then again, going back and then how you relate that page to other pages on the site. So if you go back and take a look at this, again, it goes back to the structure is right. And then I'm linking to each of those service pages. So that's why this one page can rank for all of the search queries associated with that. If I can get back to Zootrix, here we go. You see how it's ranking, guys. There's one backlink to the entire domain. One backlink, and it's not strong, particularly strong or anything else. And yet we've got 94, so 47 out of 48 keywords in the #1 position, pure on-page optimization. And that's through everything that I just described. So to get back to the question, very long-winded, I know, but we had the time today anyways. And that is, how do you do it? Start testing. There's no shortcut for that, guys. In SEO, there's a lot of trial and error. To do it properly, there's going to be trial and error. Good luck trying to do this, and not to you, Nick, specifically, but to those of you that still feel like You don't think it's right to niche down. I disagree, wholeheartedly disagree, because this is how you can scale your business. When you figure this shit out in one industry, guys, now you just duplicate over and over and over again. You already know that you have a competitive advantage over all the others out there because you put in the work to determine what is the most valuable, the highest performing structure or setup in your particular industry, right? So then you just duplicate the hell out of that over and over and over again. Boom, you're done, right? You can delegate that because now you can build SOPs on how to develop SOPs on how to build this site structure and then delegate that shit. And then you can scale it, right? Instead of you guys going out and going through keyword research and testing this, and testing that, and throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks for every single project that you manage. And then you get some positive effect over here and some negative effect over here, and you don't know what combination or recipe of things you did for this project to produce the result, and over here, which produced the negative result. So you're always guessing. How many of you can relate to that? You're unsure of, and you're not confident in your abilities to get results in any one industry because you don't know what really is the appropriate configuration and recipe of things to get the results. So, keep doing that, and you're going to keep getting the same results, which is haphazard, hit or miss, right? Random, volatility, all of that. So pick one industry, figure this stuff out, and then scale the shit out of it. That's how you build a business that is duplicatable, repeatable, scalable, and it has a good, solid foundation, right? That's my opinion, and I'm going to stick to that. That's what the DHA program is all about. How can you tie these ideas differently without a lot of manual effort? There's really no way to do it other than the test, man. Like I said, I teach the framework so that you guys have a shortcut to it. As much as I can provide a shortcut. In the mastermind, I give SOPs. I give this LLG site, what I call local lead gen site template, both in high level and in WordPress, that then can be modified to whatever type of industry you're working in. I've got SOPs just to demonstrate this, guys. Let's go ahead and demonstrate this. I really think this will be valuable to those of you that are on the fence about all this stuff. Let's go in here and take a look at this. I'm going to show you. This is the LLG site deployment SOP that I've developed for DHA program members and our mastermind members. It's available for them as well. But here's a project that I'm building right now for take a look at this, guys. This is how thorough this SOP is. If we go into any one of these, you'll see that it's very, very thorough on how to go through and build these sites. I give you the template, and here's the full training, literally step by step, on how to go through and build these sites within the framework that I'm sharing with you right now. Okay, there is nothing left here that is for questions, right? That everything is done. And every time one of my DHA program members comes up with a question about one of the steps in this process, I go in and update that step to provide more clarity. So this SOP right here alone is incredibly valuable for those of you that are wanting to try to implement this type of a build into your services. Okay, but there's only one place you're going to get this, and that's being part of the mastermind. So I can show this to you, and hopefully you guys can see the value of this. But otherwise, like, how else are you going to do it? It's going to be through manual effort. I can give you the shortcuts through SOPs and through training, but it's going to still require trial and error on your part in order to figure out what performs best, guys. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. Like, there's no other way around it. Same thing with sales. We talk about sales all the time. I do, because I feel like that is probably the most important thing that any of us as agency owners should be focused on, is sales more than anything else, because that's what generates the revenue. And so there's no shortcut for getting better at sales than just booking more sales calls. Like, you can watch all the videos in the world, listen to all the audiobooks or audio programs in the world. You can join all the coaching groups in the world for sales, for learning sales and becoming better at sales. All of that will help you to speed up your learning curve and become better faster, but none of it's going to help if you don't practice. What makes you better is repetition, practice. And so sales calls, like all the training in the world, isn't going to help unless you are consistently practicing. How do you practice? Book more sales calls. That's the same thing, right? How do you get better at anything? You do more of it. That's it, right? So when it comes to these kind of site builds, just do more of them, right? Play around with them, setups, go out and buy 5 domains, right? And then just go test different configurations on each of those domains. But try to once you have a control in place, You want to try to single variable test against that control. Because if you go in and you change 5 things on a site that you're testing against the control, then if it has a positive effect, which of those 5 things did that? Was it a combination of all 5? Was it 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, 1 out of 5? Who knows? You don't know. How do you know? So my point is, have one that's a control and then test against that. Change one variable, swap the H1 with the SEO title, and see if that has a better effect. Does it? Okay, fine. Duplicate it across two or 3 more. Does it have the same effect every time? Okay, now you got your new control, right? Then go in and play around with the H2, play around with the structure of the page, play around with the internal linking, all of that. I don't recommend playing around with internal linking because this is it right here. Service page should link to all location pages. Each location page should link to all service pages. Now you're done. By the way, you build one link to this, any location page on the site, what happens? It distributes equally to all of the service pages. You build a link to any service page on this site, what happens? It distributes equally to all the other location pages and the other service pages, right? So now you reduce the need for links because through internal linking, you're going to push keyword, topical, and geographic relevance and link equity throughout the site from any one page. It's going to distribute and flow through the entire site because of the structure. Does that make sense? So again, guys, I know I keep preaching this every single week, but it's because I can't tell you how many audits I do for SEO professionals, even many of which are on my own mastermind, that I've been teaching this for 2 damn years. And I go look at their sites and it's like, I don't know if people join these groups just for what I call infotainment, right? Information that they use as entertainment. Maybe that's the case. Or maybe it's because your workload is too big. And I don't mean you, Nick. I'm talking about just a lot of SEOs that I see on a regular basis and talk to, et cetera. Maybe your workload is too high and you don't have the time to test or the time to try, and you're afraid to implement this into what you've already been doing. But let me ask you, all of you guys that are here now, how is your current results and your current SEO efforts? Is it producing consistent, repeatable, duplicatable results, reliable results? If it's not, then change it, right? Why do you keep doing the same thing that you've always been doing if it's not producing better results or consistent results, reliability, predictability? If you don't have that in your business, what are you doing? You're taking a guess. You're rolling the dice on every project. Why? That's not a stable business. I know a lot of you guys are overstressed from your business. I'm overstressed too, just because I do too many damn things. I got too many businesses that I'm working on, which really, that's okay, because I'm passionate about all of them and I enjoy it. So I have the energy to do it, if that makes sense. But this kind of stuff super excites me. I'm not kidding, because I've been duplicating this site structure now and still making little tweaks to it. For 2 years, I've been testing with this. That first kind of structure that I started testing with was about 2 years ago. And I keep fine tuning, right? Refining it and fine tuning it and making it better. And it's just great for me because I already know the tree service guys, they don't even get a choice. This is the template they get. They want to work with us. This is what they get. That's it. Because this works. And that's what I tell tree guys. You want pretty or you want performance? Because I can give you performance and it's fairly pretty. But if you want pretty, go elsewhere. Because I'm going to generate leads for your business and get you results. Other people are going to get you pretty, but no leads, no results. So anyway, I'm going to move on. Hopefully that's clear.